Alright, so welcome back to part 2 of creating a Discord bot. Now, in this video, I want to take a look at events and intents. So, in this video, unlike last video, I want to get a lot more in-depth into what I'm doing. Now, granted, I'm not a professional or a seasoned veteran programmer, nor am I fluent in Python, so of course, I'm not going to give the best of descriptions or definitions of what I'm doing. But I'm still going to try and explain everything to the best that I can. Now, in the last video, we basically just brought our bot online and actually created it. We imported the Discord package, created a client. A client is our actual bot, and it's just an instance. I can't type instance of our bot. And what we did down here was we actually ran it. So we run the bot. I cannot type. We run the bot, which basically means we just turned it on, or brought it online, which is the client.run bit, and then the token to our specific bot. So it runs our bot. Now, if you had someone else's token, you would put their token here, and then once you run it, this code would run for this bot, which is why you shouldn't give your token to anyone else, because they can control it and put their code and then run your bot. But anyways, now I want to look at events. Now, what is an event? An event basically raises a flag to signal that something has happened, and it essentially tells us, a certain thing that we're looking out for has happened. And how do we do that? We first start with an @ symbol, and then the name of the instance of our bot. In this case, ours is a client, so we're gonna do client dot and then event. Now we put a function, and to define a function in Python, we start with the function header, which is def, and this basically states that we're about to define a function, and then the function name, and then the parameters it's going to take in, and then a colon. So in our case, the function I want to define right now is called onReady, and it takes in no parameters. So now, what is onReady? Now, this onReady function is run when the bot comes online and is ready to start using. So, our bot is offline right now. Once we run our code, the first thing after everything is set up, the first function that's run is onReady. Now, this function is an async function, which is just asynchronous. And an asynchronous function governs how we perform tasks which take time to complete. I totally did not read this definition off somewhere, but that's basically what it is. And it's the opposite of a synchronous function. A synchronous function means we execute one line at a time, and it's really straightforward. And asynchronous means we can start now and finish this later. So, the onReady function is asynchronous because it allows delay in the process of running, like when the function is going back and forth, gathering information about stuff like the Discord channel it's running in, or the messages that are being sent. Going back and forth and gathering that information, it takes time, and asynchronous, putting async here, allows us to, give that time to gather information and whatnot. Now, what do we want to do when the bot comes online? Basically, we can print the bot is actually, let's put something cornier. Omen has awoken. That sounds cooler. Now, what happens here is, as soon as the bot comes online, in this terminal, it's going to print Omen has awoken, which basically lets us know the bot is now online. So if you look now, right now, the bot is offline. And we go back to our code. We run the Python file in terminal. Give it a few seconds. This is the delay that I was talking about. And now Omen has awoken. We go back to our server. Our bot is online. So that's the onReady function. Okay, so what I want to try and do now is make our bot type in chat when someone has left the server, or when someone is kicked, or whatever happens. Once they leave the server, I want Omen to say user has left the server. Now, how would we do that? Well, we need to create another event. And so a client dot event, and this event is going to look out for when someone has left the server. Now Discord has a bunch of predetermined event and function names, and how would we find them? Well, you'd have to look at the Discord documentation. You can search documentation or scroll through and find it. Whatever it is, you have to try and find it. So what we're looking for is when a member or a user leaves the server. So you could spend all day scrolling through trying to find it, but sometimes it is hard. But okay, so let's try user leave. Nope, that's not it. Let's try leave. Oh, well, here it is. We could have searched member leave. Yep. Nope, that's not it. Right here. So Discord has an on member remove, and it's called when a member leaves or join a guild, which is exactly what we're looking for. So and it takes in a member parameter. All right, so let's define our on member remove function. So again, async def on, what am I doing? On member remove, and it takes in a member parameter. So what do we want the bot to do when a member leaves the server? Well, I wanted to send a message into the Discord channel, into this Discord channel, saying the member has left the server. So how would our bot know to send it into this Discord channel and not, any other server it's in or any other channels we might have? Well, for now, we could just right click and copy the ID of the server. If you don't have this copy ID function, you're gonna have to go into your settings and turn on developer mode. But for now, let's copy ID, and we'll open VS Code, and we'll create a variable called channel. And what we'll store in here is the Discord channel. Now, how do we access that Discord channel? Well, we'll make it equal to client. So we go into our bot, and then through our bot, we get channel, and then this will take in the channel ID. So in parentheses, we'll put in our channel ID. So channel equals client, which is our bot, and through our bot, we'll get this Discord channel, which is this channel right here. Now, once we have this, we can actually send a message to this channel, and we start by await. Await is, similar to async, just when there's delay. And channel, so we'll take this channel. We're accessing this channel. If you name this, general channel, you would name this general channel. This is just we're accessing our channel variable here. And dot send, and now we can put in our message. So it's a string. User has left the server. Now remember, we passed in a member parameter. This member parameter actually stores the member that left. So we can, instead of saying user, we can actually get the actual ID of the person that left the server. So we'll create an f string, and then in the curly braces, we'll throw in member. And so it'll say member has left the server, and that should work. We can also print it into the terminal. So we can print, we can also use an f string and pass the member variable. Member has left the server. And so this line will print it into this Discord channel, which is this one right here. And this will print in the terminal. So let's see what happens when we run our code. So let's run it right here. And then open has woken. So our bot is online. And now I have my friend's account in this server. And if we kick it, it should send a message in the general chat, or in this chat, saying that he has left the server. So if we kick, and notice that it didn't, and there's actually a reason for that, which lets us get into intents. So what are intents? It's actually pretty simple. It's nothing too complicated. It's straightforward. Now, Discord basically, they recently updated their privacy policy or something, and now you need permission to access certain data. And what I mean by this, I'll actually show you. If we go into our Discord developer portal, I have it open right here, and we go into the bot tab and scroll down to privileged gateway intents. There's two right now, and that is the presence intent and the server members intent. Now, the presence intent is if your bot tracks present data, you need the present intent to receive event data. It basically means if your bot wants to access a user's status or what game they're playing, or if they're online, offline, do not disturb and whatnot, you'd have to turn this this present intent on. Now, this server members intent is if your bot tracks server members or downloads the entire member list, you may need the server members intent to receive member events and the member list. This is what we actually needed for our code because we're accessing a member and we need this permission to actually access the member. Now, if we go back to the API reference, it'll actually tell you right here, this requires the intents.members to be enabled. Now, how would we enable them? So let's go into our code, and up here, I'm gonna create an intent variable. So I'm just gonna call it intent, and let's set that equal to, you can set this equal to Discord dot intents, and then we can set it to default. Open close parentheses. Now, to turn on the, what is it, we need the intents.members to be enabled. So here's how we would actually enable the members intent. What you would do is you do intents.members and set that equal to true, and basically that turns it on. Now, let's say there's also the other one, like in the documentation, it'll tell you which if it needs one of the intents to be turned on. Now, the other one was, here's a intents.webhooks, so you can also turn that on. And if you do that, you just come in here, intents.webhooks, turn that on, equals true. There's other ones like the presence one we were talking about earlier, presences equals true. You can go individually, and whichever functions you're going to use, you could go individually and set each one, or you can go in and just set this to all, not all. So discord.intents.all. So now we have basically every single intent enabled, and now to actually, we got to pass it through into our client. So put a comma after the comment prefix, and then intent, we need to pass in an intent variable, and we just set this to the intent variable we created here. And that's basically it. Now, if you were to run our bot, we have the permissions enabled for us to actually, use or access this member variable. Now, before we actually run our code, I made a little mistake. It's over here is plural intents, not singular, but this intent is still the same variable we created here. So it's intents equals, and the intent variable we created up here. So now if we save our code and we run it, let's wait for our bot to come online. All right, it's online now. Now, if we kick a user, so kick, it should say in chat, here we go, it user has left the server. So our bot works now, and that's pretty much all I wanted to get through today. So in the next video, we'll probably look at commands. I haven't decided yet, but it's likely we'll look at commands and we'll actually let our bot respond to commands. So when we talk about commands, we'll actually be able to access a channel without having to use this ID. We'll be able to gather information of where the command was used and who it was used by, so we can actually, send messages into channels without having to call an ID.